I first of all loved the fact that my character was called Chuck. I was like, I want to play a girl called Chuck. It doesn't sound quite as good in American with the whole Chuck, but I like my girl Chuck. In America, they don't quite get what I'm saying when I say that. And I like the idea of playing a character who was absolutely fearless. She's been through the worst thing that could happen to anyone. There's nothing worse than death, and had died. And so she, because she's had the chance to look at life for a second time, she's totally fearless and looks at life with big wide eyes and just true joy, and values every single minute of her newly given life.
And I think it's gotten better since the
it has. We went, oh, really?
It's like every time we get a new script, we're like, wait, in this episode there's a car that runs on dandelions. And in this episode, it's like,
we've got to join in trailers, so we'll get the scripts at the same time. In fact, actually, we don't get the scripts first. The makeup and hair get it, and there's this real rule. The actors aren't allowed to see the scripts first, because in case we get upset and we really love something, and then they go and change it, they don't want us to go, well, why didn't you use the first version of the script, because it's much better. So we do anyway. Of course, it was too tempting. We're like, we want to know what happens, so we sneak it from the hair and makeup, and the producers don't know this. And then we'll be literally in there shouting at the tape, going, have you seen 35 windmills? Body bags. Some things we have to do, because it's just it's not one of those things when you can guess. It's not like the Days of Brookside when I could go, so who's she kissing this week? Then it'd be it's more the imagination can run wild, and they come up with the most genius things.
And on this show, she's not kissing anyone because
we're not allowed to touch.
Not the whole series, because I can touch dead things back to life, but if I touch them for the second time, then they die again forever. And in the first episode, Chuck is murdered, and I bring her back to life. And so we're soulmates and meant to be together, but we can never touch.
It's the perfect role for any jealous boyfriend or girlfriend. They've got nothing to worry about. Well, you're doing at work today. Well, you're not going to be touching, are you, Shame? It's actually really simple, the idea, and it's set in this mad, very visual fairy tale world that obviously doesn't exist. It's a creation of Brian Fuller's mind. But it's driven strongly by a love story of a romance of two people who just long to be together and long to be able to have sex, but they never will be able to together.
But it's funny too. It's funny. I mean, I always forget to mention that in these interviews, and it's really funny. It's got a really funny dialogue to it. And Shy McBride, who plays our partner in crime, he's really great. He plays a detective, and he gets us roped into bringing murder victims back to life to find out who killed them. And
two mad old eccentric aunts who are just my favourites.
Yeah, it's like Grey Gardens.
It is like Grey Gardens. I adore them, Ellen and Swoosie. They're just both genius actresses, and there's a musical element to it. And
Kristen Chenoweth, she plays the waitress at the Pie Hole. And
she's wonderful.
She's wonderful, like great, schemy, fun character.
She's got great breasts. You'll notice that the whole show keeps being directed to it. Each week we're like, we're getting a little bit lower that top. And yours, Kristen? She's like, yeah, mine's gone lower too. Is yours low? I'm like, yeah. It's already been a critical success over in America, and now being able to bring it to Europe and to England and say thrice nominated for Golden Globes, Pushing Daisies, it just gives it a little bit more weight, and it makes the show even more substantial.
The directors just come to an agreement, so we hope the writer strike's over soon. We hope that they can come to both sides on the bargaining table can come to an agreement that they can live with, so that this could be over soon. But because it's really taken a damage on the whole business. It's
really serious. If you go to LA, like Warner Brothers, the studios, which were once buzzing and thriving and lively like a university campus, are now complete. It's dead. It's empty, and people are losing houses. People are losing they've already lost their jobs, and we can't work. We're so frustrated. We got to episode 9. We're meant to be continuing filming all the way. We'd be shooting now. We'd have made another 5 episodes, and everything's completely stopped. So
wow, it's just affected everything on every level. Wow.
Yeah, but it's all for a good cause. We as actors back the writers 100%. I tell you what I was saying the other day. It makes me laugh. I think I could be 80. And no matter what I've done, and it'll be on my epitaph. She was in Brookside. Brookeside's Anna Friel.
Whenever I tell someone I'm working with Anna Friel, I hear, Anna Friel, Brookside, first lesbian kiss.
And it's flattering in one way that there was something that people remember that much, but also it can border slightly on I don't know. No, I'm not going to say that. It's time to let it go. It's 16 years ago. I'm 31 years old. I was 16. So we'll see. But to be honest, it's what started my career. It's what it taught me that I wanted to show me that I wanted to be an actress. And whatever starts you off, you can never ever look back at and look down upon. It gave me my great break.